Heading down Grassy Point.
Bonjour, my name is David DeVere. I'm a wine and spirits educator and world traveler. You're watching Savvy Nomad TV. This is the Eau de Vie edition, and today we are tasting Scotches number 9 and 10 from the 24 days of touring around Scotland and tasting their whiskey. Now, I said whiskey, and whiskey in Scotland is spelled Whisky. But in the US and in Ireland and Canada, that is spelled Whiskey. What's the difference? And if you look this up online, you get this simple answer, almost the answer a parent gives a kid, because I told you so. The answer of, oh, it's just cultural, or, oh, it's just always been like that. But that's the answer of someone who doesn't know the story, doesn't know the truth. And I'm here to tell you what the truth is, because the truth is kind of interesting. There was a controversy, and it dates back into the mid 1800s. So in the 1850s or thereabouts, Ireland was actually the much bigger producer of whiskey in the world, and they spelled it without the E. They spelled it Whisky, Whisky. So fine, they were making lots of money selling whiskeys, and everybody thought, ooh, I kind of want to make whiskey like that. How do the Irish do it? And the Scots had a whiskey industry, but it certainly wasn't very popular, and it certainly wasn't as popular as it is today. So the Irish were making all this money, and the Scots looked over and said, we could make some money. How can we make money selling whiskey? And they thought, well, at least some of them did. They thought, well, if we blend the grains together, if we use barley and wheat and we blend it and we make a blended whiskey, or even better yet, if we take whiskeys from a whole bunch of different distilleries and blend them together, then we could sell it. And it would be a little bit cheaper for us to do that. Everybody's sitting on a load of whiskey. Let's blend it together and sell it. And it'll be a cheaper product and people won't notice, they can buy it. So that's what they started doing. The Irish got wind of this and said, hey, wait a minute. If you don't use 100% barley and you don't make it out of just one distillery, you can't call it whiskey. That's our recipe. That's how you have to do it. Whiskey is one particular thing. You're ruining the sauce here. You have come up with a new product and you're calling it whiskey. And the Scots said, I don't care. Who cares? What's the big deal? The Irish, they cared because they'd spent a lot of time making their brand. So they went to Parliament and a royal commission was established. And in 1908, they came out with their judgment. The judgment was that the Scots were allowed to sell their product as a blended product if they wanted, and they could call it whiskey. The Irish were incensed. They were absolutely crazed about it. How could this have happened to them? How could the English have sided with the Scots? Well, they did. And so while some in Scotland, look at all the producers here making single malt whiskey, some in Scotland didn't like this rule. They went along with it because the rising tide lifts all ships. The Irish, what were they going to do? They could either just accept that this newcomer had come into their turf and made an inferior product or a different product and called it whiskey, or, well, they could rebrand, and that's what they did. They added an E to the end. They spelled it Whisky, whiskey instead of whisky. That's how the E gets into whiskey. The Americans just copied what the Irish did. They just said, okay, well, what are you guys doing? You seem to know the best, and what do you call it, and how do you spell it? And the Americans use the E as well. So do the Canadians. And so the Scots get what they wanted. They get their own name, and they get to make it in a couple different styles. That's not to say that blended whiskeys are inferior, but most connoisseurs in the market agree that 100% malted barley and one distillery are the things that make the most nuanced and best expressionful whiskeys. Exactly what the Irish were saying 150 years ago. All right, let's go outside and taste number 9 and number 10. We've changed location. We've gone from the side of the hill down to the river. So Lake Superior sits on, no, the St. Louis River feeds into Lake Superior, and we're up the river. That's the Bong Bridge in the background, one of the 2 bridges that take us to Wisconsin, which we'll do in a future episode.
Yeah.
And it's named after Richard Bong, who was America's most decorated World War II fighter ace. And there's a museum in Superior. If you're ever here, you should go check out the museum. It's great. It's got an entire P-47 inside. Okay, here is, Sarah's gonna play Vanna White today.
I'm the table.
I'll take our little foam cups out. We are tasting numbers 9 and 10.
You're gonna, well, you might have to open that for me. I can both hold and read, but
Oh
can
my-
I open it? I don't know.
Can you see that close up?
Yes.
Oh. Good for you.
Yes.
Okay, first one, single malt, 11-year, 46% from the Highlands. That's number 9.
Well, no, not like that. I
Oh,
can't see that close
I don't
up.
know. Are you going to hold this the whole tasting?
Yes.
That's cool.
I'm a table.
I can't get it out. Oh,
There you go.
I got it.
Okay, right. So, 11 years age, Glencadam Distillery, barrel, 180 to 200 liters,
46% alcohol.
46%. A nose, aromatic and fresh. Hay, fruit, gentle wood influence. And
Hay.
Hay, and light vanilla and spice.
All right, well, let's take a sniff.
Okay.
Ooh, the ice just shifted. We're in beaver territory right here.
I'm really glad we're
Wouldn't
not
that be
standing on the
crazy
ice.
if a beaver popped up behind us right now?
Well,
Yeah. I wonder where they are.
something's doing something back there. Okay.
Okay.
On the, you're gonna have to hold it for me.
Sure.
To me, it's a little bit pear-like.
Yeah, I would say pear.
Palate beautifully balanced with tart fruits, fresh cut hay, and vanilla sweetness. Finish long and gentle as it fades out on barley malt and fruit.
I can hold the book.
This is tricky.
Yes, it's
All
tricky.
right.
We're on this is a sandy bank here, and we're going to show you some pictures of what the beaver's been doing to the popple trees. There's a lot of wildlife up the St. Louis River.
Tiny hint of soap for me again,
Tiny hint of soap.
as per
Can I hand that back to you?
occasionally usual.
I thought it was rich in the mouth, but not very expressive.
Yeah.
It's not like, we've had others where I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
And how old is this one?
That was 11. Huh, that's aged a long time. It doesn't have that oily, big mouthfeel.
It's subtle.
Like
it's very
the
subtle.
number 7, the 15-year Invergarden Distillery from the Highlands. This is also from the Highlands,
This
though.
is number 9. You read number 9?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
contrast
Oh, I
comparing
see.
7 to 9. So,
Okay, the aromas with a little bit of water. I don't get more.
it's weird to me because it is aged, so it's odd that it's
Take your book.
I got it.
Wow, you are.
I know. It's like I have 3 hands. I don't, though. Thankfully.
That would be weird. If
Yeah.
you had like a monkey tail that you could hold stuff with.
I don't think the water improved it. Pooey, not for me anyway.
From your,
It made it less soapy, but it just made it really very alcohol-y to me, which is weird because you added water, so why would it be more alcohol-y?
this one's not my favorite for sure.
It's fine. I mean, this set overall has been really good, so it's fine. But okay, number.
It's warming. That one was quite warming. I felt.
I don't know. I'm kind of cold, so it's hard to tell.
There's a breeze coming off the river this
yeah.
morning, and yeah, it's chilly out here.
Okay, we're gonna try number 10. Single malt Scotch whiskey from Speyside, 46% alcohol, 10 years aged. Oh, so these two are the closest in amount of age in our contrast compare.
Totally different.
No idea how to say this. Oak Roysk Distillery.
What is that aroma?
Hogshead 225 to 250 liters. Nose light with a playful zestiness, creme anglaise, cut grass,
English
and
cream?
delectable nuttiness. Is it nuttiness that you're smelling?
I don't know.
Let me have a whiff here. Oh my gosh. It is, it's almost like creme brulee. That's what they mean by creme anglaise.
You think it's creme brulee? Like burnt. It smells a little burnt.
It smells like a cream dessert is what it smells like.
Okay. God, I hope it tastes like that.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
Oh,
Yeah, it does have a little burnt aromas.
yeah. Okay. Palate, quite sweet with a pleasant softness. Finish, soft, dry green cereal notes. It was to me a tiny bit
Wow, that's
smoky,
totally
but not
different.
heady.
It's totally different from the last one.
Yeah.
Night
Very
and day.
interesting.
Night and day different.
Really, especially with the aroma.
It's hard
that
to
was,
put
that was
my
good.
finger on that. I don't know if it's creme brulee.
Well, no, it isn't. It's creme anglaise.
Well, I don't know what that is, but
English cream, whatever that means.
whatever that.
But yeah, very dessert, sweet, like caramelized, dessert smelling or something. So that'll be interesting to see what the adding the water does to it. Oh, he has a bad face.
Again, I'm not sure the water improved it at all.
It changed the aroma.
Do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Dulled it maybe a little.
It's better without the water,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, well, thank you for being our Vanna White today.
My pleasure.
Okay, we're going to show you around here a little bit. The beaver has been going to
Busy.
work.
Busy as a beaver.
Busy little beaver.
Yeah.
And if you're ever here, explore the river. It's a wonderful thing. The lake is fantastic, but the river offers lots of fishing and wonderful, cool things
Kayaking,
to see. There's
swimming,
a lot of animals in the river.
birding.
Otters, beavers, etc.
Very pretty.
Next week, we'll take you to someplace new. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please give us a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Until next week, I say a tutelaire and
Cheers.